Kindly sit down, please. Chief Minister, first, I must say that I feel very honored this morning to deliver a statement in this very important program. Asked by the presenters to talk on energy as a key enabler for development. You will agree with me that since yesterday, successive speakers before me the entire day and giving the recap that has just been made here, I have no doubt continue to underline the importance of energy to sustainable development. Today, I will tell you clearly that my experience and engagement with the sector over the years have clearly indicated that energy is more than an enabler. It is, if not, the most important vehicle to deliver development. Equally, we have seen how energy is vital development opportunities. I want to use this opportunity this morning to place our energy transition efforts over the years, to use that to explain how and how far we have gone and how we see energy interlocking with the development prospects of our country. I want to use these 6 years since we assumed office to showcase the importance of the energy sector to our development perspective. In 2018, we inherited huge electricity debts that weighed seriously on the national budget. At that time, electricity cost to government was about 30 cents, between 16 to 18%. Our generation capacity were very low, transmission and distribution very, very chaotic. The utilities we had there, still have, we are overburdened. We continue to suffer from huge technical and financial losses. The implications for all of this is high energy costs for doing businesses, is huge stress on the economy, particularly slowing down businesses and to a large extent development. At that time, we had no choice but to stabilize the situation. We came in, we wanted to source and fast track new areas, production line, so that we can get electricity below 30 cents. This explains why the Minister just mentioned of my visit to Côte d'Ivoire to get the Ivorian authorities to fast track the electrification of the CLSG line. We inaugurated across this country off-grid solar solutions to power schools and community health centers and support small community-led businesses. Although over the last couple of years, we have been able to increase electricity in Western area between 75 and 80 megawatts, even with that, we still do shedding because the line is not strong enough demand that is required for the Western area, which is about 120 megawatts. And we hope that by the time we complete the renovation of the 116 line, we'll be able to evacuate 160 megawatts to Western area, which is still very low. Because the paradox of electricity is that when you give more light, people use more light. So over the years, these are some of the gains we have made. Even with all these gains I've just highlighted, we are still being placed in what energy specialists will call, we are within the utility category, meaning that the energy that we have today is essentially utility energy that just there to power social services, houses, and small businesses. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, As a government, if we want to put the country in a viable development trajectory, we need to make a transition from utility energy to productive energy. We have made huge gains as a government in several social development sectors, in the area of health, in the area of education. I don't need to mention all of this, and also in the area of governance as a government, which was essentially the bedrock first time in office under the Human Capital Development Initiative. But it is clear that the sustainability of these gains will depend on enhancing domestic production capacity to help increase revenue and jobs, that we need resources as a government to continue to make the gains and keep the gains we have made in the social sector. It is evident that we need resources to support these sectors. These can only come from a viable, productive sector. And energy is key to unlocking the potentials of the productive sector. Today, businesses, mining companies, manufacturers spend huge amount of money on electricity, increasing their overall production cost, and more also their overall management cost. Just yesterday, our brother from IFA made a sterling remarks here, stated that agricultural development alone is vital to support countries to transition out of poverty. And we believe that electricity will expand production, reduce the cost, reduce production cost, and create jobs opportunity. If you take only the food sector, with the initiative on feeds alone, I will tell you that over the years, we are spending 35% of our imports on food alone. And the sub-Saharan Africa indicators today is at 14%, while Asia is at 7%, and Latin America is also at 7.3%. Sierra Leone, we gradually reduced that between 2016 and today 2023 from 35 to 24%. Even with the reduction to 24% in the last 4 years, we are still far above the sub-Saharan average for the kind of money we spend on food. And yesterday I make another reference again to our colleague from IFAD, who said that most of the countries that have moved on the trajectory of development, with the exception of Singapore, to quote him, are countries that have made huge gains in food production. And if you talk about food systems, if you talk about how to improve food systems, make no mistake, energy is critical, infrastructure is critical, connectivity is critical, finances is critical. But above all, energy is key, because energy can support production, energy can support processing, storage, and everyday life. Energy is key to food system development. We have seen the impact of off-grid solar solutions for communities. In most of the communities where you have these solutions, including in my village, we have seen how those communities have transformed over the last 2-3 years. They have been able to create what I usually call a kind of a nocturnal economy, because they have lights, solar lights, people can come around, they do small businesses, and life and vitality have returned to these communities. And also we have seen how, through the UK-supported project, we are powering healthcare centers. The importance of giving energy to communities, particularly health centers, is vital. It allows us to keep the potency of vaccines that are needed for under 5 kids and pregnant women. We have seen how energy will revolutionize food production with very, very limited impacts on the planet. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as a former stability scholar that has spent most of my time going across various few continents and various countries have been charged with the responsibility to address the challenges of state building and state effectiveness. I can certainly say today that reliable energy is key to supporting countries to transition out of fragility that usually caused lack of jobs, fragility that is determined by climate change, fragility that are determined by high food prices, fragility that are demanded by reduced fiscal space, and fragility that creates a lot of burden on social services. If you take countries in the Sahel today, from Niger to Chad, to all of these countries that are suffering through immense fragility, you will realize that energy can be vital to supporting them to move out of fragility. Because energy can provide the opportunity for them to address the immense challenges they are facing because the youth population is on the rise. Energy can help them to bring down the cost of food in their communities. Energy will be able to give them the fiscal space that they need. Instead of subsidizing energy to spend it on capital investment, energy will be able to support them to build effective social service delivery chain. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I cannot agree more that the data today we have, the evidence is pointing to the importance that energy holds for development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the biggest challenge today is the resources to make such investment. And I want to believe that this data that has got all the talent and key experts across the world to come here to think and to share your perspective with us holds promise for this challenge. But I cannot agree more to say that energy, thank you very much.
Very much.